Here we go. So this is Donnie's Corner, and I've got my brothers here. I've got one missing. His name is Terry, but we'll get him the next time. This is my youngest brother on the end, Charles, and my brother next to him is Jerry, and this is my brother Melvin. Of course, I'm Donnie, and this is my moderator, my nephew, Michael. We're going to just give you a feel for our family dynamics. There's 5 brothers and 7 sisters, and we're one happy family, like most families. But this is a real happiness, a real joy. And so I pray that what we talk about will inspire you, will encourage you as a family to get together. We're all here getting ready to play some golf for the next 2 days and enjoy each other. And I just pray that you guys can grasp from this, that you start doing something with your brothers and with your sisters, because it's so important to have this bond. Turn it over to you, Michael.
Hey, okay. This is an honor to do this. I'm in the middle of the 4 brothers. One is missing, but ironically, my mother was a middle child in the family. So this is how we're lined up. My first question, and I want to start with the oldest, and that would be Donnie, is how growing up with nothing but sisters shaped your life in the beginning of the family.
That's a good question. We're going to pass this mini mic around so we can get the quality that we need for this particular setting. But growing up with 7 sisters, I've told the story before. Uh, for the longest, it was just me as the only brother and 6 sisters. I'm the oldest brother. Um, but it shaped my life in a way that I think my father kind of started the whole thing off by telling me, "Don't ever hit his daughters," because I was a little renegade, running around the house and all these sisters, and they just dog piling on me. So, but he told me, "Don't hit my daughters." He didn't tell me don't hit my sisters. Don't you hit my daughters. And so it showed me how he cherished them. It showed me how much he loved them as well. Not that he didn't love me, but it definitely showed me the dynamics of a father's love for his daughters. And so it it curbed my whole, if you will, appetite towards women when it comes to respecting women. And so by growing up in that house with all those young ladies, it really made me understand how to respect them, their needs, how a man should treat a woman, from just the way my father taught me, from the way he behaved with him. Now, he'd tear me up, he'd tear the boys up, but he had a soft spot for his daughters. And so it taught me something. It taught me, encouraged me at the same time, but it definitely made me pivot to realize that these are not boys, these are girls. You cherish girls, you know. And so I began to learn how to treat them the way I wanted them to treat me. And I realized it was 6 of them at that time, became 7 down the road, but it was that many of them and just one of me. So I realized, wow, I can get more out of them than they can get out of me. And so I started managing them real quick on how to treat them with respect and love, and to do whatever they asked me to do. Because whatever I asked them to do is going to come back to me sevenfold from all those sisters. And so that's how it curbed me to be the man that I am, is to how to treat and respect women, even at a young age.
Okay. Interesting dynamic. I'm gonna ask the same question, but in a different way, because most of the women in the family were born, of course, secondly to Donnie, and now we have the 3 brothers that actually got to look up and also live with the women. So, what were y'all taught? And I'm opening it up to Melvin, Jerry, Charles. Hey, let's go, Melvin.
Well, for me, it's kind of, I was in the middle. I had a baby sister and my older sisters that was there. So my brothers, he was gone, college and everything. So I kind of look up to my sisters, and they taught me a lot about respect and also respecting yourself as a person and respecting the family. So I grew up that way with my sisters, making sure that whatever they said, I took to heart. I understood what it meant. It wasn't something that was easy because I was a boy, and the girls that brought me up, almost had me too emotional. Not like a man, like a strong boy or anything. I had to kind of bow down to my sisters and respect them. And it's the same way passed down. My father, same thing. Do not hurt your sisters. You know, appreciate them, understand them, and help them, which I tried to do to my best abilities. And after that, it was more of a daily chore to make sure I respect them in every which way and never hurt them or disappoint them, and just try to grow up to be a little boy that, came to be a man with a lot of my sister's knowledge and protection and respect.
Okay. Jerry.
Well, I can say for myself too. Learning about my seven sisters, I was about 9 years of age, and that's when life had took its course on me. I started understanding what sisters and brothers was about, and it was a lot of us, And first, I thought it was just me, Kayla, Melvin, and my nephews and nieces. But come to learn about, I had the older sisters, an older brother, Donnie, Terry. They was off into school, doing their own thing. So when we all got together, like on the holidays, that's when we learned about, like, wow, we are a big family. The T on my hat stand for Thompson. So I'm like, wow, we are big. So where did me and my little brother play a part in this life? And we was the two babies. You wouldn't know because, he's bigger than me and I'm kind of thin, but that's how it ran in the household. So we looked out to one another, we all loved one another. Our mother and daddy showed us love, wasn't nobody left out. There was no favorites. Although they would say you are my favorite, but we all knew that we all was our parents' favorite. So for me, man, it was all about my parents first, my sisters, and then my brothers. And then I came last. And I was good with that, because that was my learning and that was my faith, and my soul was like, we are a big family, so ain't nobody gonna really mess with us. And so, hey, I believed in God, and I was relaxed with a big family. And my sisters, yeah, of course, they was all there when I found out who they all were, and they gave us the support that I needed. So that's why I became the man that I am today. And I have no regrets. I always told myself, if you're really gonna learn more in this world, just keep on living. Just keep on living.
Okay. Same question, Charles.
Well, with me, like, of course, I'm the baby. So it was a big gap between a lot of us. So when I came about, a lot of them was already older, moved on, went to college, but when I did see them, it was a joy. I got a lot of knowledge out of it. I got a lot of stubbornness out of it. Some of them say, you just like your daddy. But now I'm just like all 11 of my family because they was all my big brothers or big sisters. So I learned a lot from all of them. And, all of them had that big courage of, lifting you up, showing you the right way, talking to you, boosting you up to go with whatever you think you want to do. Hey, it's out there for you. You just got to put 100% in it. And, it was fun. Like I say, me being the youngest child, being a big gap, my mother and father was real like older. They showed me a lot that where my father and my mother, they was older, so they didn't be around. They was around, but they wasn't like involved with a lot of stuff. My sisters and my brothers were.
Okay, good question. Let's pick it up a little bit. Okay. As being the oldest child, the oldest brother, how how important is it for you to pour back into your family? We had this conversation a little earlier. I want you to elaborate more. Pour back into your family. And then also the second part of that question is how are you able to help the younger brothers understand that you changing and growing as a man might make them feel either more pressure or left out, or maybe that they don't know you. Being that there is a 15-year age gap right here, So, how is it important for you to pour back into them so they can understand, the genesis
Oh,
of the
my,
siblings?
wow, you're becoming a great moderator real fast. That's another great question. As we were talking earlier, my brother Charles is 15 years younger than I am. I mean, when you think about it, and if I was a little knucklehead, he could be my son, at that age, when you think about it. But one thing that I noticed, and I spoke to my cousin, we talked a little bit, one of my older cousins, how when we leave the house, we're thinking that our mothers and fathers still have that same strength when they raised us, especially when there's such a big gap. But in essence, they're not the same. They're wiser, but keep in mind, God gives the youth all that strength, and He gives the older the wisdom. And so they're wiser, but they're not as all that youth don't have all the strength like they used to have when they raised the rest of us. And so when I got to thinking about that, I realized that everyone should go back to your family, as we talked about this. Now, I can't tell you how many years or what it might take, but everyone should go back. And if you can't go back and live, you should go back definitely often to pour into the younger group, because there's a disconnect of what mom and dad did for me than what they did for my youngest brothers. All my brothers, basically. It's just a big difference, especially me being the oldest son. My father just raised me totally different. I'm just telling you. Most people won't see it unless you're in my shoes, but it was great for me because I needed to be that guy who people could look up to. I didn't ask for that. I didn't ask to be the oldest. I told Charles I wish he was the oldest and I was the youngest, because there's just so much that you see that he gets and what I didn't get. And so, uh, but pouring into them, each one of them, in my own way. Every time I met them, I'm always giving something, some advice, And so I think at some time I tried to stop giving so much advice because I could see them looking at me like, "You ain't my father," because I'm trying to give that big brother advice, but I'm probably coming on like a father because now I've got children and I'm fathering, and so I've got a fathering mindset. And so I'm talking like a father, but I know that they're my brothers, but I'm just trying to pour into them so much within like a weekend visit. I'm trying to give them 20 years of me in one weekend, and that's too much for any child to receive. And so, of course, I'm growing, so I don't know that, but I'm just dumping. I'm just dumping. And so I'm quite sure some of the time they're like running from me, like, "Oh no, Donnie's coming. Here comes this whole ministry, Here comes all this information overload, probably." But I was doing the best I could with what I had. And my thing was, I could see the deficiencies, I could see the weaknesses, because I'm an observer, and I could see exactly what they were missing because I know exactly what I was missing. And so my thing was to give them all that I could while I could, while I was there visiting. However, over time you realize that's just not enough. You've got to be there, hands-on, if you ask me. You got to be there going to the games, going to school, speaking on their behalf, because at this point, as Charles mentioned, my mother and father are aging and they have some illness going on at the same time. So that's the one part when I look back, I wish I'd have been able to fight for them in those areas, because I'm a lot wiser and educated at that time, where I could fight and to come to their rescue and to really kind of encourage them how to have a voice as well, you know. But if you don't go back, let me tell you what happens. The neighborhood will raise your brothers and your sisters, and that's not always good. Don't get me wrong. There are some great people in that neighborhood, but there's also some bad people in that neighborhood as well. And so I would just advise everyone who's listening, make sure you go back and spend quality time. Understand who your family's hanging around and who's hanging around them. Even if you have to sneak back into town sometime just to kind of get a feel. But if I could do anything back over, just an example, I would definitely have spent more quality time back home. Now it's easier said than done because I'm raising a family. However, you can always make time if you understand, just what's more important than just simply spending weekends playing golf, here in Dallas. I could have been back home, just driving back and forth, just really putting some time in.
Yes, sir. I want to try something. And this is for the younger brothers on the panel. Um, give us a strength about yourself that we might not know.
I would say my strength is probably listening, communicating. The main thing is listening, just being quiet and listening and observing what I hear from my brothers, sisters, mother, and father, and taking it to heart and letting it work with me into a positive person and a human being. But the main thing, my strength is listening.
Okay. Yeah, Melvin is physically strong, probably the strongest man I've ever known. But all right, Jerry.
I would say mine would be the mental aspect of my 7 sisters and my 4 brothers, because growing up, the physicality of it, we didn't get a chance to play with one another. Me and Charles did a lot of playing with each other. So it's to me just the mental. That's the strongest part of it for me, is the mental part of it. Because when I talk to my sisters and when I talk to my brothers, everybody have different stories.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And stories that we never heard of, that we never knew. Like we have some kinfolks we didn't even know that was our kinfolks. And that's the mental part of it. It made us strong, made me strong. As far as the physicality part of it, like I say, me and Charles played with each other, but I really didn't get a chance to play with Melvin or Donnie, a Ann, a Jan. You know what I'm saying? It was all mental.
Mhm.
That's what I can look back and see that, the mental part of it was great for me, outstanding. Because I would talk to mom and dad, and they was, like I say, they was always say, I love all my babies, all y'all my kids. I don't have no favorites.
Right.
That was mentality. That was that mentality that would always stick with me. That right there. And so now, we get a chance to do the physicality part of it. And that's what Donnie has brought us here today, be around each other,
Mhm.
to understand the physical part, the healthy part, what's the mission, what's the purpose, you know what I'm saying? When you open up that jar, that lid off that jar and let that air out, that's what Donnie has just done for me today, tonight. And I love that, and that's the mental part of it.
Okay. Same question, Charles.
I think I can coincide with Jerry. The same thing is that, like I say, once again, being the baby and getting bits and pieces of each and every one of them. That the focus, the strong part is being the focus, being you know sturdy, stubborn sometimes, and stuff like that. But I think what it is like I said, I'm the baby, so I got doses of the good, the bad, the ugly, the mean, the put you in your place, the whole nine. So I seen the whole aspect of all my sisters and brothers, and think that's what made me where I'm at right now. Right along with my mother and my father, especially my father, giving me the good work ethic that I got, of working and taking care of your family and handling your business, And my brother Donnie, dad never told me that, but my brother Donnie always used to come and tell me, you work hard, you play later. And when I was young, I never really realized that, but now as I'm getting older and I see it, it's like, man, you know what? And like Donnie say, man, he coming, man, he come, he give this, he give that, man. All he do is come and just da. But as you get older, you see it like, wow, some of the stuff he was saying is true. But he wasn't never around 24/7 to say, okay, my brother giving me good advice. He just, man, he coming to beating up on me and leaving. But
Mhm.
that was the younger days. That was, you not knowing your whole family and what family was about.
So what I'm doing with everybody's strengths was I'm really putting together that everybody up here has the same principles and probably not even know it. You know, Donnie was there for me during, a downtime in my life when I came to Dallas, was there to help me out, and I was able to get to know him, how he lived, how he moves. Melvin, I lived with Melvin my first year of college. Got to live with him, know how he moves. Really got to know him. It was my first time like living with Melvin, other than seeing him for family reunions. Jerry, grew up with Jerry in the house. Fun uncle, taught me how to love music, love basketball, how to be cool. Jerry taught me my first rap. You know, my uncle Charles. My uncle Charles made me love basketball. He was the first Thompson on his panel that I had seen play basketball. He rebounds the ball, he slaps it, he yells when he used to dunk, everything. So everything basketball wise is through Charles. And right now, I'm in Charles's home when I come from work just to see him move as a man. And guess what? Even though there's a gap there, Charles moved like Donnie. And I just want y'all to know that. Y'all all, even though, mom and pop was in different phases of their lives in the way that, they were raising and teaching you and what they were hands on and hands off about. Y'all still have the same principles. You do. And it's it's wonderful. I ain't gonna say it's crazy. It's wonderful that I'm able to sit here, that I was able to have individual experiences with all of them. You know, and we can't leave Terry out. I want everybody on this panel to give me a strength of Terry and let him know that he's loved by us.
Terry has this innate ability to make you laugh. I mean, no matter what's going on, he just got that card in his pocket to pull out. Uh, it's not just a laugh; it's his love language. His love language is to see you laugh. Because I think when he sees you laugh, I think it makes him laugh inside. And so that's one of his strengths is that love language of laughter. And you haven't laughed until you've been in Terry's corner. And I keep saying that Dave Chappelle is really Terry. They just don't know each other. But Terry has that uncanny type of humor as well. But yeah, Terry, it's to make you laugh.
My brother Terry, he's a very strong person, and I mean strong. I'm bigger than him, stronger than him, but his mentality is something that you can really never break. You can try to, but it's not going to happen. But he will let you know his love for you as a brother or sister in ways that other people don't. Someday you can wake up and find something there and you wonder who put it there. And it's Terry. So that's one thing I love about him. He has a softer side, but you would never know it until you just open your eyes one day and notice something is different. And that's Terry. It's just different. No, he gets me here. I love him to death, but that's my brother Terry. Nothing but a piece of love.
Jerry.
Oh yeah, Terry Land. Let me tell you, not only is he my brother, he's my friend. He's my comedian. He's a pusher. He's a thriver. He's energetic, real smart. He got everything you would want as a brother. But just I can go back to say the mental part of it. That's him. But as far as the physicality, he's never, he's never here. He always doing his own thing, which I just pray and just hope he take care of himself. He knows that we all love him. You know, when we meet again, it's smiles. You know what I'm saying? It's good talk, good food. And that's my brother Terry. He's just not only my brother. He's my friend. He's a creator. He's everything that you want in a brother. I'm serious, man. And although I got four brothers, but he just one. He just stands out when he comes around, man. He just makes you laugh, like Donnie say, like Melvin said. There's always a spot in my heart for my brother Terry, just like the rest of my brothers. But sometimes Terry can just take over. That's just how I always been. Yep, Terry Lynn.
Yo, bro. I mean, he's a good guy. I mean, he have me laughing. I call him sometime. Yeah, I'll talk to him a little bit, and he'll crack a joke or so, and we'll laugh and giggle. I'll tell him, Terry, man, you need to do it. He said, boy, you just like daddy. Yeah, I tell you. And then him will bust out laughing. He said, I just always want to tell you that, bro. I said, man, you know what? I love you, man. He said, oh, I always love you. You ain't got to tell me that. I'm your brother. I'm JR. I love everybody.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about Terry. When he calls you, he's already laughing on the phone before he says something. But that's amazing. So, our last name. I remember a couple years ago you told me a story about our last name,
Mm.
and I want you to share how we got our last name and why our last name is so strong, even through my kids, through our children as well, and also the city that most of us weren't born, but we were born and raised in. You know, Thompson. Give us the origin of that.
So let me tell you how my dad told me is that our last name is really Thomas, but his grandfather told his dad that the Thomas would never be anything. And so therefore he changed our names to Thompson because they would be everything. And so that's where that whole origin comes from. And so we're Thompson proud. Um, you, if you call my children, they'll tell you I'm a Thompson. I mean, even my granddaughter, my grandson. The one thing I asked him, I said, so who are you? I'm a Thompson. And so we've just taken that name and we're proud of that name because we're proud of our heritage. We're proud of where it comes from because we had a great grandfather, if you will, who decided to change course because he seen the family that he had were headed in the wrong direction. And he wanted to change course for the family that he was having and that he wanted to be better. And so he says, and the only way to change that is to change your identity sometimes. And I strongly agree with that. I've never doubted that, from the first time I heard the story, my thing was, okay, I'm a Thompson and I'm a word well. So it's our brand. Jerry got the T on his hat because it's everything to us. And we fight for it. And we stand for it.
Okay, I'm get us a Jerry. Jerry is he carries a flag on this one. Bug eye. Explain that.
Well, growing up, man, you had kids my age and Terry age, Melvin age, and Charles age. They always try to make fun of my daddy name that his friends called him, so I always corrected them. I said, we bug-eye kids. Mr. Jimmy Thompson Jr. is Mr. Bug-eye. So you got to get it right, not white. And so everybody would laugh and make jokes about the bug eyes. You got bug eyes and all that. And I would get mad. Now we really wanted to fight because I think you're mailing my daddy now. You know what I'm saying? I told y'all we are bug-eye kids. He is the bug eye. We are Thompsons. That's Mr. Bug Eye right there. And I always respected that man because I heard his friends call him Mr. Bug Eye, Mr. Bug Eye. I ain't never heard him call us Bug Eyes. Always my daddy. But like I say, our childhood friends would always call us Bug Eyes instead of Bug Eye kids. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's what I like. That had more Gucci flavor. Bug Eye kids. Now my daddy, Lil Jim, that's a different story.
Right.
That's Mr. Bug Eye. And so that's how it always been with me. Yeah, and I do hold that one. I got the little tattoo of the bug, poetry.
Right.
I said a lot of my music have a lot of bug in it. That's just how it is because if you look at the bug itself, the little insect, they don't die, they multiply.
Right.
And that's how the Thompsons do it. Thank you, Mike. I
Yeah,
appreciate
that's
that
true.
one. I appreciate
All
that
right.
one, Mike.
It's funny as growing up and the teachers say your name. How many of y'all been called Thomas naturally? Charles Thomas, Thompson, Thomas. I always been
Yeah,
called
you
Michael
gotta correct
Thomas.
them.
Yeah, you always got to correct them. And like you said, with our name Thompson, and how it's really our war song in our family, like our last name. My sons last summer spent time in Hobbs, which they've never been, and they spent a lot of time with my uncle Charles and their cousins, and they were so proud to be Thompsons. I asked Major, "Where you from?" "I'm from Hobbs, like my daddy." And he's born in San Antonio, but the last name Thompson. What I noticed with everybody in the family, like that's our war song, that's our flag, and we're gonna plant that name anywhere we go. Um, of course, this is the open floor. Um, any questions that y'all have for each other, And I want to bounce off y'all. We can elaborate on it. Let's just talk. Let's talk.
Going back to the name Thompson, I have a daughter. She's in Canada,
Mhm.
and she's a grown young lady now. And one thing, elaborating on the name Thompson, she told me, Dad, I know where my name come from. I said, what do you mean you know where your name come from? She said, yeah, I know what my name means. I said, okay, so tell me what it means. She said, you name me Savannah, and that's the African plains. You name me Journey because I'm on a journey. And my last name is Thompson. That's family. And I told her, I said, you know what? That is awesome. That is very awesome for you to come up with that. And it just shocked me that she knew all that at a young age. But yeah, as far as me, my brothers, like I say, I love them all the same. Just like my mom and dad brought me up. One is all, we get along. We just like any other family. We fight, we argue, but we still love each other at the end. Whichever way it goes, we always still have that love for one another. And when you grow up with brothers like that, it makes you stronger. It makes you humble, and it makes you very appreciative of what you got. Because a lot of people do not have it. And traveling the world on the journeys I've been, I've seen it firsthand, recognized it, and like every day I appreciate my brothers and sisters to the fullest.
Charles, you like to say something? Because I'm good.
No, I mean, it's a joy. Like I say, growing up with all the family I have. Just some things you sit back and just like me and Donnie over dinner tonight. We were discussing because I believe it was Mike or I think it was Donnie had said, "Do you have something that you sort of like hate or something like that?" And I was telling him, I said, "Yeah, that me and Donnie got so big of a gap. He wasn't at home when I was at home, and he got all dad's he know all dad's memories and all that. And me, as when I was young, that's when dad was getting sick, so I didn't get to get all those memories. And as I was a young boy, I mean, my family tell you, I was the one always daddy, daddy. A lot of them call him Little Jim, nah, daddy. A lot of them, well, why you call him daddy? That's my daddy. I'm the baby. That's my dad. But that and just sitting there and I tried to base some of my life off my father, what I knew of him and what he planted in me for his work ethic, take care of your kids, stuff like that. And I talked to my brother Donnie and certain things. It's like, man, why my brother wasn't here, man? Some things I'll call him about. He'll tell me, okay, about it. I'm like, man, if I had my bigger brother back then, I mean, me and Jerry always been because we was always together. But my oldest brother, because like I said, he got that father, my daddy's role. You know what I mean? So it was one of them where, man, if I had my big brother, I could conversate with him some of the things that I could ask my dad or whatever. He can shoot it like today. And dad was the same way. Hey, you ask me a question, I'm not gonna lie to you. So that was some of the things, just certain things that I take from it that not lost, but just like, man, I wish I was right in that same area since I'm the babe, you know.
Okay, Donnie.
Just echoing back to Hobbs, New Mexico, about your children being, honored to be from that area. You've been from that area. My granddaughter, she just shocks us all the time. Her name is Gabrielle. She's 18 now, but Gabrielle, when we say we're going to Hobbs, it's like we're going to Dubai. It's like we're going to Hawaii. We're going to Disney World. She just loved coming to Hobbs, and the reason why is because of all of her cousins. Because she knows she's going to be able to play with kids her age and have a good time, and people are going to love on her. So that's how big and how loving this family is that the grandchildren love being around the family. And that's something we're going to have to make sure we keep together because, my aunt who passed away, Aunt Marios, you couldn't call her that, you could only call her Amy, but Aunt Marios, she told me, keep your family union going. Don't matter who's coming because if they don't come, they weren't coming anyway. But keep it going because family is everything. And that's what she told me. family is everything. And we've always known that. But it's just something that our parents and grandparents before us felt the same way. And so as you were saying that we're all kind of similar, but even being around each other as much as we, would have loved to, especially being younger, we still have some of the same principles.
Yes, sir. So, question to everybody on the panel is, the world is evolving, it's changing. Everybody's busy due to inflation, family changes. We all got to work, create a living. We're all busy with kids' sports, with our own things, with our homes, with fixing things. Would you call me a first generation nephew? We're 40. Tori's in his 40s. Chris is almost in his 40s. Jimmy Don, Keith, Thea. We're all in our 40s, so we have great fond memories, and we also still carry, the Thompson tradition. So my question to be to y'all, now that everybody is aging, how do we recapture that and try to get everybody in the room at the same time? It's for a couple days, like you said, just a weekend or a dinner. We used to have the long, 3-4 day family reunions. I understand that might be too much for everybody, but our tree is expanded out so far. My sons would love to see their cousins. They don't know how many cousins they have, and they don't know how many cousins that look like Major, that look like Max, that look like Jamie, that look like Ariza, that look like Savannah, Serena, that look like Gabriella, you know. So how do we recapture that? And I'm gonna start, with the babies.
I think the way we recapture that is, get out there, just like, you know, they have in the presidential election. You got to get out here and campaign to our youngest ones that, I mean, look at my brother Donnie, look at Aunt Martez, she passed, but, you know, people getting older. So your heritage and where you come from and the knowledge you're going to get is from those that are older. If you shine away from your family or you don't want your kids dealing with this part of the family, they'll never know their heritage. They'll never know what went on in their dad's or their grandpa or whoever's life. You'll never know that. You'll just be stuck out there saying, "Yeah, they're my cousin." That's it. And you might have a lot of them your cousins, but you don't know your cousin might have a lot of joy for you. But all you know is just, "Yeah, they're my cousin." And far as me, I would love to get everybody together like that because, like you're saying, everybody, my kids. I mean, I got two small ones. They need to know who all, not just my 12, just us 12, my brothers and sisters. No, they need to know their cousins, their great aunties, their great uncles, their great, or however it go down. Even if it takes it to get the whole family to go back to Arkansas, Mississippi, sure, where it really started from. Not just stop at just one seed, because sometimes the seed will die out. So you got to keep going. And put it in each and every one head that, hey, you got family, you got to keep going, got to keep going, got to keep going.
Let's go, Jerry. Look at that camera. How we get
Yeah,
everybody? Let's go.
like Charles said, you got to go to Arkansas, but the most important thing, my mom and dad, they came down here to went down to Hobbs, New Mexico in the late '50s. So that's what you got to do. You got to bring them back to Hobbs, to our 4th of July bash that we have there. We have Juneteenth activities for all the kids in the community. We're doing big things in Hobbs for kids. So your kids, Melvin kids, Charles kids, my kids, Donnie kids, great grandkids. We all just got to get together, continue getting together, and talk just like this. We got to open up brilliant minds because, like I say, Thompsons, we are brilliant. We got brilliant minds. We have wisdom, we have knowledge. You know what I'm saying? We have retired, brothers, retired, you know, sisters, and we just ought to just got to keep talking. That's the mental part I was telling you about. Now you want to bring the physical part back into it. We gotta have family reunions, bring them to the 4th of July bashes, and then every year, like in June, bring them down here to something like this, Donnie, get everybody together. It takes time, but once you start something like this, it's going to last forever, generation after generation after generation, because it's not about hanging your pictures all up on the wall. It's about talking. It's about communicating. You know what I'm saying? It's about, you know, what can I do for you? Reaching out. You know what I'm saying? I'm a provider, Charles provider, Melvin provider, Donnie's provider, you're a provider. So we got to install that into them, how to be a provider. Because if you don't teach that to them, like your kids, my kids, his kids, and everybody else's kids, they wouldn't know. The schools can do so much, the churches can do so much, but as a family member, we could do it all. Thompson's. We just said it. We just talked about it. So, yeah, I would always love to talk to your kids. Although I haven't seen your boys yet. Oh, and I do, just like we was on the phone earlier. Oh, I'm going to give them that Thompson feedback. They going to get it, Yeah, Thompson, that's right. And that's just me, the mental and the physical part of just life for me, because, we can't take this back to the evolution, but we can bring the evolution to us, you know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about it. Thank you, Mike.
Let's go, Melvin. You there every summer. You make the effort. Let's get everybody else to make the effort. How can we do that?
I think the main thing, as my brother Jerry say, is the physical part. We can talk about it, but getting your kids, the grandkids together and showing them this is how the Thompsons do it, I think that's an imprint within their brain to where when I get older, I want to do that too.
Yeah.
I want to be a part of that when I get older. When they're young kids, they are like blind and empty to this world of ours. But long as we do the physical part of showing them the right way to do things, how to come up, how to respect one another, that's one of the main things. Respecting one another as a family member, cousin, in-laws, and all that, the same way that our mother and father respect each one of us and brought us up with the love and caring, regardless who we with or what color they always still respected us. They showed us that. They gave us the hugs, to let us know, I respect you the same way as I respect your sister or anyone else in this household. And I think once our kids see that, the love that we have for one another, that pours out to the branches from the tree to their cousins and saying, respecting, oh, that's my cousin, you know. I met him at the 4th of July. I know him. Boom, boom. And it carries on from there. And that is something that I would never forget, you know. It's kind of like the first spanking you got. You never forget it because that's the physical part. It's in your mind, implanted to where you understand that, wow, that's something you don't want to do again, you know? So it will change you as a human being, as a person, the physicality of being with each and one of us and learning, our kids learning from us, absorbing the knowledge that we have as Thompson and just keep it going. Big brother?
I think that everyone who's watching this and you're hearing this conversation, your family is just like ours. It's always looking for how do we get together? How do we pull our children or our siblings together so that we can stay connected? And that's what it is. It's a family trying to stay connected, and so it's always challenging. It amazes me that when there's a funeral, though, everybody shows up, and so I would say, please um, listen to the hearts of my brothers and my nephew. Um, you've got to set something in course to where someone makes the effort to be committed every year to putting something together. And this is what my aunt told me, Donnie, set it up. Whoever comes, that's who was coming anyway. Who don't come, they were never coming. And so I think we take on too much when we think we got to get everybody there. And really and truly, everybody wasn't coming anyway. And so the most important thing is once you start something, guess what? People start hearing about it. I think someone said it earlier. Just get it going. Let's pass this information around. Let's get it going. And so that will influence and encourage everyone to try to participate. I might not come this year, but I'm coming next year. And that's a big plus because we ain't seen you in 10 years.
I'm
And
coming
so
every year.
every year. So it's got to start. It's got to start somewhere, and I think that's where it's at. But let me just segue just a little bit because I want to make sure that we said something about my mother in this conversation just a little bit because um, I don't think my brothers really know it because as we're talking today, and we've talked before, all of us individually, we've talked and had conversations, but I don't know if anyone sees me as a mama's boy, because I talk so much about my father, because he left a print on me, not a footprint, but he left a print on me that um, I think every man should have, and that is that he was strong, dedicated, loyal, supportive, just a whole bucket load of adjectives and nouns and verbs. He just met that, if you will, whatever that mark is, he met it for me. But my father was, I've said this before if you ever listen to my messages, my father was more of a parable type man. He'd throw me a bone and tell me to go figure it out, go get the meat off. I mean, he's always giving me those puzzles to go figure out with just one little word saying, and Charles got a whole bunch of his sayings. Uh, but my mother was a communicator. If you listen to me talk, it's because of who my mother was, because she just communicated with me. Now, keep in mind, I'm her first son, so she's pouring into me. And then all of my aunts, oh my gosh, I have a whole bunch of aunts, and they're pouring into me. Oh, I had to be so proud of you, and just talking to me consistently. But what they're doing is they're pouring into me. And my gift is that I'm an observer, but also I see what you're not, what you don't see, and I see what you're not saying when you're talking to me. And so I kind of grasp all that. I kind of lay between the lines of your conversation, and I listen to your heartbeat. That was my mother for me, just blessing me to talk to me and just to pour into me, but also to listen to me, because my dad wasn't listening. I mean, as a matter of fact, I don't even think I really talked to my dad, to be honest with you. I just listened to my dad, because that's just the way he was. He was wired that way, but he was very serious. And my oldest daughter told me the other day, for the first time, she told me, she says, I was scared of you, Daddy, because you were just so serious. Now, I've always seen myself as a little jokester on the side, but really and truly, I never showed her that side because my father was serious and stern and firm, because he realized that I was going into a world that I wasn't ready for. And the only way to really go out into that world is to be focused and to be determined. So that's what he instilled in me. But my mother gave me the voice to communicate, to navigate in every room that I got myself into. So I just wanted to echo that when we talk about my mom, Hattie B, boy, I've got so many stories, and my brothers probably hadn't even heard of it. Matter of fact, they don't know some stuff I did. I mean, it's amazing that I take for granted that they know exactly I think they know my life. I really do. And I took that for granted because they don't know my life at all, because I've never shared it. I've just kind of kept it and moved on and just lived and tried to be the best brother I could be. But when I look at it, I'm saying, wow, these guys don't know. And I've talked to strangers about my life more than I have with my brothers sometimes when I think about it, just little bits about it. And so that's why I wanted us to get together to have these type of sessions. This is the first one of many because there's so much that I don't know about them. I told Charles, I wish I was the youngest brother and you were the oldest brother. He think I'm joking with that. Yeah, but he don't know the burden of an older brother. I don't know the burden of a younger brother, you see? And so, but I want to share with him the burden. And when I call it the burden, it's also a blessing to be the oldest, because you can either mess it up or you can set it up for success. And so I think I was the right one. Well, God don't make no mistakes. So I was the right one in the order. It's just that we don't talk about what I went through, what he went through. He shares a little bit about what he went through, just a little bit. But that's not even the tip of the iceberg, what he's saying. See, I know some stuff that he don't know I know. He knows some stuff I don't think he knows. It's just the way we are, but we keep it. We keep it. And that's not good, because we need to share it, because just like we're trying to share with our children, well, we ain't shared with each other yet. You see what I'm saying? And so that's why I wanted us to have these type of talks, and with my sisters as well. I want to make sure we get them in the room, because everyone see it from a different perspective, how they lived and how they were raised. Because You can talk to my sisters, they say, oh, mama was this and mama was that. And I said, mama was an angel. And they said, oh, no, she wasn't. I said, well, she was to me. You know what I'm saying? And so we all see it from a different perspective because we have different, we live different lives. And so I just wanted to just stop for a moment just to kind of echo that when we talk a little bit more down the road, we're going to talk about my mom just a little bit and what she meant to all of us. But for right now, we're just talking about really in this room, us a little bit about who we are. And we still haven't unpacked really. I mean, come on. We ain't talked about Jerry yet. We talk about Terry, Terry, Jerry. Look at that twist on those names. We ain't got into the depthness of that. Yeah, and Melvin, my Hulk Hogan brother right here. There's just so much to talk about that really and truly we haven't unpacked.
Right.
But these trips is what every family should take, and this is all the brothers coming together, nephews. That's what I wanted to put together so we can talk as men. And then because my sisters already do a trip for themselves, but I don't know if they talk like we talk in this particular setting and unpack some things like we're unpacking some things, because sometimes it can be painful, but I'm ready for the pain. Because see, my brothers can't grow if they don't share their pain with me.
Right.
And I can't grow if I don't share my pain with them. It goes both ways. But we just got to be ready for that pain because that pain will come. Because everything isn't pleasant. We're sitting there being nicey right now, but there's some things that we need to really talk about. Talk about health issues. And as I was sharing today with them, as I've gotten older, at 50, certain things just start happening. Like, whoa, where'd that come from? Why am I crying? Why am I getting emotional? What is this about? Watching the movie, and trying to hide from my wife. No, I'm not crying. Some got in my eye,
Yeah.
But we want to talk about that because other families are dealing with the same thing, and we're silent. And my thing is, I want to make sure this opportunity gives everyone a voice in my family.
Got you. And I think now you just gave me another realization of family. Especially us. There were 12. Now there's 11. But you have to think about the different perspectives and ages and things we went through in life and things we're able to share with each other and to help each other with. Like what you've been through, you can teach me, vice versa. Everything that y'all been through. The same with you two. The same with you two. What you can teach Donnie, and that just gives me a new perspective on family and how wonderful it is, and how God made it is. Man, we can all be each other's medicine. All be each other's medicine, and just piggybacking off, Grandma Hattie B. I know her as me. I didn't know her name was Hattie B until I got older. But let's go to the baby. Tell us about Hattie B.
Mom, oh man, it's down into my mama's baby. I think I was right there with it, but all them was gone, so I guess I had no choice but to be the mama's baby. So man, mama, hey, she bust her butt. She worked, bust her butt, did what she had to do, you know, bring what she needed to bring to the family for her kids. I mean, all 12 of us. One thing she say, y'all all my babies. You go to talking about one, and she, hey, what you talking about? Y'all all my babies. And like some of my sisters, Kayla, Carol, them, I'm the favorite, and me and the brothers, but Mama didn't play that. We was all babies, her babies. And I mean, she just showed so much love. It was one of those where she didn't care if you was an outside friend. She still took you in. As long as you didn't cross that path of getting in trouble, whatever, she'll take you in. Even if you did get in trouble, she would never judge you. She always took you in or always helped you. A bunch of my friends, she always cooked them like gingerbread. That was a favorite, that gingerbread. Well, to this day, everybody, man, I'm cooking a cake. I don't want that cake. Why you don't eat cake, Charles? Man, I done licked all mama bowls. Every time she cooked the cake when I was young, we got the bowl. I'm tired of cakes. But yeah, but my man, But yeah, I didn't have to share. Yeah, I didn't have to share that boat. It was all mine. Yeah, it was. It was. Yeah, it was good. And, Mama taught me. I mean, pretty much all the boys, I believe, how to cook. I don't think it's a boy or a girl in our family that don't know how to cook. If it is, I don't know. I never knew about it because, boy, I mean, it's certain things that you pick up from mama. Like, a lot of people talk about Jerry, all them greens and this and that, and me, mama's Tori, all of man, that potato salad and this, man. When you gonna make some of that? Donnie got a couple of daddy and mama recipes. So it was joy with mama, man. And I mean, she was one too that just in bed. Matter of fact, Donnie, he was asking tonight. We was talking about getting whoopings. So Donnie said, "How many times you get whooped by mom?" I said, "I never did get whooped by mom. It was always daddy. Because daddy was daddy was that one. I wait till your daddy get home. That's how mama was. But I'd rather got a whooping with mama than daddy because you was bringing the pain."
Okay, mama. Yeah, yeah. She was my queen. She was my mom. Let me tell you. She taught me how to cook, taught me how to clean, taught me how to wash clothes, taught me how to do hair. Everything I just about know how to treat a woman, how to be with a woman, ethics, everything. She always had an eye on me, and far as the whipping part, she ain't never whipped me either, but I know she got a tennis racket and went across my head a couple of times for she finna jump on her little baby there. I learned my lesson though, because I know she was trying to tell you don't do that. You teach, you reach out to each other, you don't fight each other. And to this very day, I always have that implanted in my head. And I ain't never touched my brother. I never will. Now one of my brothers. And my mom taught me that. Taught me how to love, taught me how to care. Just taught me a world of good things, man, that I can just keep on going on and on and on. But the most important thing my mom taught me is how to smile.
If you notice one thing when people mention their mother, is my mama. They share the same mother. So tell us about your mama, man.
Yeah, like you say, one thing I did learn, I didn't know her name was Hattie B till I said it, and that was the last time I said it. So she let me know real quick. I'm your mother. Your name right there, don't come out of your mouth unless you put it on a piece of paper for a reason or something. But yeah, she taught me how to cook just about everything. Her DNA is written all over me. That's something that I was blessed with. The average woman to this day, they always ask her, "How you learn how to cook like that?" I said, "My mama." You know, I was always in the kitchen, either getting burned, getting cut, or falling off the cabinet. But I was tasting every bowl that she let me get my hands on. So she was just beautiful, respecting, caring mother that I wouldn't trade in for nothing in the world. And she taught me things that you just don't learn. It's built into you. The stamina that you have and the respect you have for a woman and your kids. She would always tell me, just love your kids. They're just babies. And that's something I always took to heart. And my mom, like I say, some people say this is a queen, this is that. My mom, like I say, she was my mom, more than a queen. And she's still with me to this day. I get so emotional. I talk about it. It's hard to keep it in, but that's just something she gave me, a heart. I loved her for it the rest of my life.
So everyone has mentioned something about cooking, and that's one thing the mom did was taught all of her children how to cook. And you're right. I don't know any of us, the brothers or sisters, every single one can cook. And the good thing about it is that it's all good. We'll eat each other's cooking, because it's like, okay, wow, because he can cook certain things. And the thing about it, we know what we can cook and what we can't cook. Okay, and that's a great thing. But my mom taught me how to drive at the age of 12. I mean, at 12, she put me behind a stick shift truck. And she told me, if you can't drive this, then you can't drive. And she taught me how to drive this stick shift truck. And my friends were all, laughing when I tell them, but really, in a little small town, most of my friends were driving at 12. It wasn't just our family. It wasn't just me. It was my friends as well. And so she taught all of my siblings how to drive. Now, I'm not sure how far it went down, but she taught us how to drive. My father was basically, off doing his thing working, but my mom was doing all the other things. But she definitely poured into all of us. She taught me how to iron. I mean, I can out iron probably almost anyone. I can put a crease in, I can put a crease in a napkin. Well, Terry good, Terry good. I will say that. But yeah, Terry good. Taught us all how to clean. I mean, I can make some faucets shine for you. Just taught us so much. I mean, it was just so many teachable moments. But the one thing Mama taught me was how to love. I mean, you're talking about someone who always kissed me, always hugged me. Every time I come in the door, no matter where I was coming from, she taught me how to be affectionate with just women, especially. Uh, my father now, of course, it wasn't no hugging. I'll tell you this, my father, we didn't know shaking hands. Boy, you better get on in there. You better run on past him now. And my sister would all grab him and hug on him, but I wasn't about to try that. So all my hugs and kisses went to my mom because she loved it. And so, yeah. And so everything in me, I told my wife, you get the best of me because of who my mom was. Yeah. Uh, I love you. I love you hard because my mom loved me hard. Yeah. I mean, that's how she loved. She loved hard. She loved all her babies, as she'd say. And we all can attest to that she loved hard. Now, don't get me wrong. She didn't spank all of us, but she definitely corrected all of us. I mean, she wasn't no pushover. I don't want you to think she was a pushover because, boy, she had a mouth on her. I told you she taught me how to talk, how to have a voice, because she had a voice.
Right.
Yeah, and it rumbled, and you listened. It wasn't no like, I'm waiting till Daddy come home because I can't take care of it. No, I'm waiting Daddy come home because that's what I want. I want him to take care of it because she could have took care of it. I told my brothers today how she spanked me. I said, but really she beat me with a water hose one time. The only time she's ever put hands on me was I was doing something wrong. I would tell anyone, every spanking my parent gave me, I deserved every single one because I was doing something wrong. But my mom, one time, she put some hands on me, and all I did was sit there, and I realized how strong she was as a woman. It's like, wow. And what she was frightened because she didn't know where I was. I spent the night with my cousins, and she was terrified. My aunt told me. I just never thought about it from that perspective. It's like, why are you spanking me? I was just over here with my cousins. It's like, no. She loved me that much that she thought something had happened. And so she took out all that pain on me from feeling, that something had happened. But that's what makes strong men.
Right.
Is mothers who love, not mothers who trying to be another father. My mother never tried to be another father. All my brothers just told you how she said, your dad will take care when you get home. See, she knew her place, and she knew what she was doing though. See, because she was teaching us how to handle business when we became fathers.
Mhm.
Yeah. You let your wife do this, and this, but you take care of this, and this. So she instilled all that inside of all of us of how to be young men, and we just little boys, but we're learning,
Right.
and we're learning fast because she realized this world is gonna come at us fast. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna sit there and act like we didn't make any mistakes. We did, but we were always grounded. See, here comes that Thompson again. We were always grounded as Thompsons, learning how to get back on course.
Right.
Yeah, I might bump my head for a year or two or for a season, but you know what? But I know I'm a Thompson. I can crawl back into that, that brand, if you will. But yeah, mom was true. I'll tell anyone that yeah, I'm a better man because of my mom. I think I'm a very good man because of my father. And so you put those two together, T and T, those Thompson. You put those two together, wow, you got something special. You just have to honor and respect that and enjoy that. So that's my mom, though. I mean, there's a lot about my mom, but that's the most important part I wanted to talk about was
Yeah.
giving her flowers.
And just going is, segue into another similarities that I noticed about everybody on this panel between the brothers. And I want the family to guess the similarities, and I want y'all to kind of go with me and think about it. You ever ask Donnie and Jerry about their day? It's similar. They're philosophers. Donnie comes from, a godly, it's a different path. Jerry also has a different path. It all comes from God. But I want to challenge people in the family. Just call them. Ask them about it, how they day. And you're like, oh man, Jerry, you just like Donnie. It's different. And then same way, Donnie, just like Jerry. Right? Charles and Melvin, probably two strongest men I've ever known. Charles and Melvin are not scared of anything, even though they might tell you they are. But as being a nephew, I'm sure my other cousins will, say the same thing. They're not scared of anything. They'll get at you, and I admire that about them. If I just had the little less fear of what they have, or whatever, to carry that through life. Now, moving on, I know that eventually you're going to sit down, my aunts, your sisters, and, just a quick lightning round. I'm going to say a name, and you just tell me something real quick, maybe 5 words or so, or a little bit more, or what what you feel about your sister, my aunts. And I will also go too. Um, we're just going to start. I'm just saying a name. Okay? Sonia. Real quick.
Strong,
Strong.
loving, confident, courageous. Yes. Happy-go-lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Great spirit. Speaks her voice. Knows who she is at all times.
Yeah, Sonya stand on hers, and she have your back no matter what.
Who?
Sonya.
Oh, oh, that's loving, caring, protector. Uh, doing anything to help you out, to take care of you. As a brother, she's always been there. I could talk to her, and she'll give me some very good knowledge that sticks to you. That you can carry through your day, making your day a better place. If she got something, if she can give it to you, she's going to give it to you without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
But like I say, she's very caring and very touchable person. When like she speaks, you listen. If you don't listen, trust me, you're gonna listen, and that's on you.
Let's go. Let's get it quick. Get it quick. Sonya.
Sonia, loud, funny,
Yeah.
Black Panther,
Yes, he is.
godly. She loves her God. She loves her soul. And most of all, she's one of my loving sisters too. She makes me laugh, makes me giggle. When she wants to be there, she'll be there for you. But it takes a lot though. It takes a lot to pull her strings. But like Melvin said, she's happy, fun going. You know, if you get her in an environment by herself, you'd be like, wow, that's Zonia. And if you get her in an environment full of room full of peoples,
Mm-hmm.
wow, that's Zonia, because she always gonna stand out, Mike.
Yeah.
Zoo. So she people person. She gonna talk to you. She don't care if she know you or don't know you. She gonna have a conversation with you. And I talk to her pretty much every other morning or every morning. Well, if you don't have your facts right, she gonna go research and she coming back at you. She gonna come back at you strong. But now sister, she's strong, she a strong woman. And she says she get it from her dad. I get it from my daddy. She's for that, but yeah, she a strong woman.
That is right. She is mom and daddy all in one.
Okay, now we're down to 6, and the last thing on Sonya, to me, she kind of reminds me of Bernie Mac in the sense that she tell her like a Ti is. You know, she don't care how you feel about it. You know, she ain't scared to say what what you might be scared to say. You know, and that's how she is. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna say a name, and I want you to grab, reach for the mic, or just let me know, and I'm giving, give you the mic and you elaborate on it. Okay, Kayla, let's go.
Baby girl, Hop. Ah, very, very, very interesting, I should say. Only person I know could come outside, nothing but boys, and just about whoop all their butts, shooting dice, basketball, things that girls don't do. Hop was right there. She's doing it, having fun, laughing, very good sense of humor. You think Michael Jackson can dance until you see Hop.
Let's go. Let's go. Edna, sister.
Like a twin. Most people don't know we grew up and we were in the same classes most of our elementary, middle school, high school years. So like a twin, um, protector, serious. It's amazing, but most of my sisters have my father's attributes when I think about it. Uh, they're strong, and she's strong, very determined. Um, looks at everything from every point of view, but it's going to be her point of view when it's all said and done. Very collective, if you will, of her thoughts. Um, has a bite about herself because she feels she has to have that bite in order to uh, be a part of this world where it's, hasn't been always fair to women. And she definitely stands up for what's right, but encouraging, focused, and definitely a very smart, bright person. She has she has more of my daddy's attributes than I do, from a perspective of she used what he said. I got it, and I tried some of my own stuff. She took what he said and she used it, and still using it to this day, which is awesome, by the way.
It's funny. Me and my cousin Tori, we used to kind of joke. Let me say like once or twice that me and him would switch at birth because my mom and his personality, and then me and sister's personality kind of run together. But it's funny. Like, let's Colin K.
Carlin K, I would say leader, teacher, professional, mother, protector, Amy. I can keep going on with my sister Carl. She's everything that a brother would want and brother would need, And she's loving, so that's my sister Carolyn. We call her Carolyn K for a reason. Not just Carolyn, Carolyn K.
Yeah, I always love Colin's charisma. Just being around her, and she just picture of confidence to me. Um, yeah, Patricia, Ann, Pat.
And I on end, I mean, like I said, I'm the baby. She moved out uh, when I was young, but knowing her from the time when I do know her till now, she's good, caring, give the shirt off her back. Uh, always around, just like the rest of us. Always gonna throw a joke or two, have a little laugh, give you a good laugh in there. Uh, always be around a person that you can talk to.
Okay.
So Ann is a year behind me, and most of my brothers probably don't know this, but Ann is probably the best athlete in the family that never uh, went forward and claimed her spoils. Yeah, she just didn't. She decided not to really take sports up in high school and go further. But Ann Ann could do everything. I mean, Ann could outrace boys. I'm talking about high school boys. She was just simply determined. And, you know, it's sad, but I don't think anyone in the town could beat up Ann as a high school. She was just that dominant a force. And she lived her life that way, and she still lives her life to me on the edge a little bit. You know, she settled down a lot, but I don't think my brothers really understood how what an athlete she was, because she just gave it up. You know, but boy, was she an athlete. I mean, wow. I would have loved to see what she could have, you know, became if she would have just stayed focused on sports.
Jacqueline, Kathy, Marshall, Nell, Aunt Nell.
Yeah, this is one I wanted to grab because uh, uh, you know, my mother can never be replaced, never. But me coming up and being the first son in the family and going off to college, the one thing that I can remember about my sister Nell is that she would tell me in a very nice way, you know, I'm coming from working out from playing basketball. She never told me you must. She just said, you know what, Donnie, when you come home from working out and from college, you might want to spray this vinegar in your shirts upon your arms and put it in the washing machine, and it takes that smell out. I mean, she did it in such a nice way that I said, oh, thank you. But she'd always give me these little tips, you know, like my father kind of parables. But she did it in such a loving way to where she was teaching me how to be a young man. Now, keep in mind, she's just 2 years, you know, they're like 2 years older than me. But she's teaching me some things that I don't have. And my mom at this point, you know, she's ill. And so you know, she's kind of trending off a little bit. But my oldest sister, I will always cherish her because when I look at her, if I had to give one word, it would be sacrifice. See, it's something to be the oldest sister because everybody comes up under you, you're babysitting them. You're like the second mother that nobody really wants to have, but you have her, and she's there. And some people will, you know, throw forks at you, throw knives at you because you know they feel like this ain't your job. What you doing? But I always respected that sacrifice. And then if you see her with her family now, she sees sacrifice. I mean, her gift of sacrificing just kept going and going and going. But I remember her, all the things she did for me. And I've never told her how appreciative that I am and was then as well. But yeah, that's what I see when I see her, sacrifice, great sacrifice to watch over her siblings and to pour into them. I mean, never fought with me. I wanted to fight her, but she never fought with me. She was always clever with words and always talked herself around some things that, you know, not to knock me out, I'm quite sure. But yeah, great sacrifice. Someone who loves everyone, even though it might not be the way you want her to love you, she loves you in her own way. And so, but yeah, that's what I see when I see her. It's great sacrifice. Someone who took that second mother role, if you will, and did the best that she could. I think that's where we go wrong sometimes when we see some of our siblings. It's like, well, but she didn't do this, but please go back and see what she did. Oh my goodness. If you could only understand what she gave up to make sure that you had. That's my sister, Jacqueline, Kathy Morris.
I know. Jamie Thompson, Jan. You call her Blender?
Linda,
Blender?
spoon and skillet.
Spoon, skillet.
We can open mic on this. That's
Hey,
sister,
yo, open mic, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So on old Jan, so it was what? Take back again. I'm the baby, so growing up it was me, Jerry, Kayla, and Jan. Man, we had some good times, boy. So one day we was in there and she always looked out for us, always gave us good advice, you know, just messed with us. So one day we was in the kitchen. I think mom and dad was gone or something. We started doing something, she got mad at us. So, me and Jerry started calling her Blender. So she said, okay, if I'm Blender, y'all Spoon and Skillet. That's y'all name right there, Spoon and Skillet. So that name right there stuck to anybody called, Jed, you heard from Charles Jarrett? Who? Spoon and Skillet. So, I mean, man, we had good times. Sus showed, you know, she was there for us. And showed us the right way as well with mom. When mom was getting sick, sis was right there with us. I mean, being a sister, being a big sister in the house, the last one being in the house, she showed us a lot of ropes and took us in and cared for us. I mean, it was a lot of fun.
No, Jared probably got some stuff to say.
Yeah, I just love the way she always called me and Charles Skillet and Spoon. She always had a name for us, and if me and Charles start not listening to her and doing what we're supposed to do, she was the first one to put us in them closets. I can remember I was in closets. Y'all gonna act right, or y'all not coming out that closet? And me and Charles always said, "You not our mama. Stay in there longer." Then you know what I'm saying. So it's one of them things like Charles said. She was, raised up in the house with us, a little older than us. So she had structure, showed us structure. Man, just amazing. She really went to work every day, showed us, told us you got in order to eat, in order to manifest in this world, you have to work, you know what I'm saying? You have to get your hands dirty. So she showed us a lot, man. And then when you came in the picture, Mike, we knew it was a blessing to have a sister named Jan.
My sister Jan, a lot of people don't realize it. She is the person who let me know don't never ever let someone kick your butt. I beat up so many people at softball games because I would always run to her and she would get me and say, "Come on, where you at? Take me back and make me fight him." So that's a lot of courage, she gave me. And she said, "You don't never run from nothing. You're a Thompson boy. You'll never ever." And I just loved her so much, The things she do, you just priceless. And the knowledge that she gave me as a young man, it was unbelievable. And she always scared me. I go in the room, "You awake, sis?" I could never tell she was awake or asleep because her eyes was open. And for some reason, she was like, "What do you want?" I said, "I thought you was asleep." She said, "No, I'm just looking at you." Right? So we always have fun with that. That was one of her things. She said, "Yeah, you thought I was asleep, huh?" "Yeah, I just looking at you." So my sister Jan, yeah, she was a blessing. God gave us someone, that I appreciated all my life growing up with.
So Jan, this is amazing because my entire life, her name was Jan. And then one day she told me, "Donnie, you know my name is Jamie, right?" And I said, No, your name your name is Jan." She said, "No, my real name is Jamie. Everyone just called me Jan." And so from that day, I started calling her Jamie. Now that was a tough thing to do because it's like, Jamie, but she told me, "Yeah, my name is Jamie," and so I started calling her Jamie. Um, Jamie is she's a spoke in the wheel. You got that sprocket. It's called a sprocket. You got all those spokes. She's that middle child in our family, and I've always told my friends that she's that centerpiece. She's that piece that where you can go and you can find where it's due north, because she's always got that structure. I mean, she always has this word of encouragement, this word of this wisdom, if you will. And so she has a special place in my heart. Um, she's no longer with us as far as in the present, but spiritually she is. But yeah, Jamie, I tell you, just boy, when she moved to Dallas, oh my gosh, she ran me crazy. I mean, I'm going back and forth from my house to her house in Irving, and I loved every moment of it because I hadn't been around her in years, and that's the thing about moving away. You miss a lot of growing up with your family. We need to talk about that one day. How much you miss growing up without your family. The most important people to you, you're 20 years away from them in some sense. You come back once a year, twice a year, but you're with total strangers most of your life. It's amazing when we think about that. We got to unpack that one day. But Jamie, yeah, I mean, just a big heart. Someone, Michael, your mother was awesome to all of us. She is the only one. Let me tell you, my mama's country. I mean, had to be was country she could be, but a great communicator with that countryness. But Jan has all of her sayings. I mean, Jan could talk just like my mama. She could quote my mama. I mean, talk my kibble and quibble and everything else that my mother would say that would make us all laugh because we know that, Mama, what are you saying? And we know what she was saying. We just want to hear it again. But Jamie had all of those mannerisms that she could just. I mean, she was like my mother and just clone, a different version. But we definitely missed her. And so when you bring up that name, I think we just all kind of go silent a little bit because it's very touching still. But yeah, Jamie, yeah, that's the centerpiece of our family.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off everybody, like, my mom, the thing that stick out to me is personality. Man, my mom taught me how to adapt to change and to thrive in any room that you're in. I might seem quiet and reserved, but if you put me in places where I need to thrive, I'm going to open up. And I learned that from my mom. I remember at 17 years old, me and my mom was kind of going through that crossroad of parenting, child, son, and she sat down and told me, "It's like we're gonna become best friends." I ain't want no kids, to be honest with you. I just wanted to travel and spend my money and party. But y'all probably know that. I just wanted to party and travel. I didn't want no kids. But since you're here, we're gonna become best friends. And that's what we did. And my mom shared so many sayings, and probably the only saying that really stuck with me is in life, you're gonna have to sacrifice to get what you want, or life is gonna make you sacrifice. And you might not like it. So do what you gotta do. But I'm just gonna open the floor to everybody. You know, yeah, I ask all families to do this. There's some things that they're going to share with each other personally, and there's some things that I want other family members to call them and just ask them, "What was your perspective on this? On when I was growing up, or when I was going to college?" You know, didn't really talk about athletics. We talked about that earlier, but I just wanted to add in the House, New Mexico area, which I think we're the best athletic family in that area. Because you think about it, we probably got more than 20 people in our family that went to college and played a sport. I don't know how many families can say that, you know? So just wrapping it up, opening the floor, and of course we're gonna start with the oldest. Just a message that you have for each one of your brothers, including Terry, who's not present, and we're just gonna pass that down the line, and we're gonna wrap it up with love.
Just let Donnie wrap it up because I'm
Okay.
sleeping.
Let's go.
You want me to wrap it up right now?
Yeah,
Wrap it up.
wrap it up.
Wrap it
You
up.
guys good?
Yes.
Okay.
Wrap it up.
So let me just say, this has been great. Um, this is something that my daughter encouraged me to do, and I thought that this would be a great opportunity to do this, to sit and talk with my brothers and my nephew, and to let you guys kind of listen in just a little bit to what we have been through and we're going through, and how we have committed to doing something like this for sure once a year, to where we as men, the men in the family, get together and take a trip and just get away and just unleash some things that we need to unleash, to do some things we need to do, to bond the way we need to bond. So I would encourage every family, um, if it's sisters, brothers, and you can do it together, by the way, if you want to, but I would definitely encourage you, stop putting this off. Yeah. Stop saying we'll do it next year. We don't have the money. It's not about money. It's definitely about time. And if you don't make time, someone just said, time will make it will make space for you somewhere else. So I would encourage you to take the time to speak with your siblings one on one, and just unpack some things that you guys should have talked about way before now. As we're talking about talking to our children who are now in their 30s and 40s, if you will, some of our children, and we have some younger children as well. Uh, how can we unpack to them when we haven't unpacked to each other? I mean, think about that for a moment. I mean, I'm going to tell Charles, a little baby something that I haven't told him. I mean, come on, that don't make sense. But that's what's going to happen if you're not careful. Or you're going to let me tell your story before you tell your story. And so my thing is, it's time out for keeping skeletons in the closet. I mean, come on, they are what they are. Ask for forgiveness and move on. If they're not going to forgive you, they weren't going to forgive you no way. We just got to move on. We got to be bigger than that because there's so much the way in the balance with our children. I want my children, my grandchildren, I want my brother's children, all my nephews and nieces to be healthy because they know who they are and they know where they come from. and they realize that we are sharers and that we will share our truth. So don't lie. The one thing we were talking about today was, I tell my children and my grandchildren, I will never lie to you. Never. To my brothers as well, I will never lie to them. Never. To my sisters, I will never lie. Because guess what? If you tell a lie, you got to tell another lie to cover that lie. But if you tell the truth, guess what? The truth will set you free. So as we close on Donnie Corner, hey, this has been exciting. Thank you, Mike, for facilitating this. I appreciate it. My brother Melvin, thank you. Jerry, Charles, thank you. Jerry, hey, next time we'll see you. You guys be blessed. Thanks again for tuning in.
Unbelievable.